Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Jenny G, and this is Soul to Soul Connections with Jenny G. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and make sure you hit that little subscribe button right down there in the corner in order to get new content and new episodes coming out. You don't want to miss these shows. I have many surprised guest celebrities, you name it. I've talked to them, and they're coming on. So you must follow this episode and all of the episodes. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Pinterest, Instagram. You can find me literally all over. Jenny Cousins, I'm there. So now I have an extraordinary guest. For those of you who do know me, I love making that soul to soul connection with someone. And when I see somebody who truly has inspired me, who I'm very drawn to, who I want to share their stories with, I'm reaching out. So if you feel you have an exciting story or something you want to share, get in touch with Jenny. So on today's show, I have a very exciting guest, and you are going to be blown away if you already do not know her. So I'm going to welcome my guest in, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then I'm going to ask her some questions. So I want to welcome my guest, Hui Hui Lek, to my show. I'm so truly grateful for having you on and absolutely honored. I love your energy by far.
Thank you for having me, Jenny.
Oh, of course, of course. Now I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown about who she is and what is she about. And as you're going to see who she is, you want to stay tuned to this. Now, Hui Hui Lek was born and raised in Singapore, is the CEO and founder of Inner World Training. She's the creator as well as the Mission to Movement 7-day course creation challenge. She has been an entrepreneur for 19 years. During the pandemic, when her previous retail business was hit by more than 80%, Hui Hui started to pursue her lifelong dream to become a speaker, trainer, and coach, achieving her first 100,000 K in 70 days and $1.1 million in coaching sales in under 12 months, using purely organic marketing strategies without paid ads or complicated tunnels and technology. Now, she has combined her real life business skill sets and spiritual wisdom to create her programs, Impact University, which helps new coaches get to their first 10,000 K, then six figures in their coaching business. As of today, she has helped over 200 of her clients, and many of them have achieved their first milestone, which is also on the way to hit their six figures soon. She has since helped 3 clients reach 100,000, and 2 of them also followed her footsteps to do it with one in only 100 days. In her former life, she built a retail business from 0 to 6 figures in under 2 years and has helped more than 30,000 customers in different countries in Asia for the 11 years pre-COVID. She was also a book editor who has published over 100 children and adult nonfiction books. And she's recently been included in one of Tony Robbins and Dean's top 20 affiliated partners. Like, how extraordinary is that? So, of course, you are all going to be able to talk to her.
Thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction, Jenny. Appreciate you.
Oh, of course, of course. So now you know I had to have you on. All of you are going to see why. So now you have had your businesses, obviously, right? Now, do people need to really be educated to create a business?
Well, many of us actually are not, we actually don't think about our life experience or our expertise or what they have gone through in life as something that's valuable. But if we think about it this way, right, what we actually experience for the last 10, 20, 30 years of our lives, right, and all the obstacles that we have gone through and we found the solutions for, many people are still trying to find the solutions and get themselves out of those situations. So if we can actually take our life experience and our expertise and turn that into an online business where we can actually create a solution and then package that together, right, to be able to help someone get out of that situation, many people are actually willing to pay for that, right? So all we need to do is just to learn how to package and position ourselves in the online world using purely social media, if you want to, without having to do paid ads, which is what I did from 0 to 7 figures, right? I did not use any paid ads at all, right? In fact, we are close to 1.8 million now, and without any ads at all, right? So this is completely doable even for a beginner, as long as you're willing to understand how to do it, right? And then gain the capabilities to move your business forward, to start and move a business forward. Yeah, and I'm really excited because after COVID, the entire world has shifted online, right? And they are now willing to see that, hey, I don't need to go to a traditional institution like a university to learn, to pay 5 figures or multiple 6 figures to get a degree, to learn from someone. I can actually learn from someone who has been there and done that, right? And I don't have to pay that amount of money, but at the end of the day, I'm able to get the results that I truly want. And this is what this entire industry is all about. And I'm really excited to be in, because this industry is going to explode another 5 times in this next few years. So it's just only at its infancy stage. There's so much potential there.
Yes. And as you can see, I've had people say, do I need like a university degree or college degree and such like that? And as you guys can see, you don't. You truly don't. So how did you get started? Like, how did you get started in online courses and like creating coaching and such?
Um, you know, Jenny, I've been having this secret wish to be a speaker, a trainer, a coach for 14 years.
Oh,
And about 1.5, close to 2 years now, right? There was someone that I actually asked. She was a 6 figure coach at that time, and she was the only 6 figure coach I knew at that time. And that was during the pandemic lockdown. And because my business was wiped out by 80%, right? I was thinking about what can I do, right? That's I can't continue my retail business because I don't have my inventory coming in from overseas. Many of the factories that I worked with were closed during the lockdown period. And so I was contemplating what my future is. And so when I had the opportunity to ask this 6 figure coach what I wanted to do, whether or not I could be a coach, she actually looked at me. We were on Zoom. She looked at me in the eyes very sternly and she said, Hui Hui, you're so shy and introverted, you can't speak well, and you don't even have a social media following. Who are you to become a coach? And I was so crushed when I heard that. It was as if like a knife just pierced through my heart. And for the next 3 months, 3.5 months after that, I completely gave up the dream and I went into depression. And it was only after about 4 months later, I attended this event by Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And that was when I finally thought that, gosh, I could actually reignite this dream. And they are showing me a path to how to do that, and I can learn from the best. And that's how my entire journey started. And from then on, I realized that I can actually take all my experience from my entrepreneurship for 19 years, put that together, and show people how to take their experience as well and create a course and eventually become a coach. And so that's how my coaching business evolved. And you know what? In the very first few weeks, I was just giving out free classes
yeah.
to people, right? And in the second week, someone came to me and said, Hui Hui, can you be my coach? And I was shocked. I was thinking, I don't know how to be a coach. I don't have a certification, right? And I was thinking in my mind, are you sure about this? And I honestly told her that I have no experience being a coach. But she told me that I see something in you that I think you'll be able to help me to get to where I want to go. And she told me about her dream. And I realized that from that moment onwards, when someone places a dream on my shoulders, I just want to be able to help them achieve it.
Yeah,
And so from there, that's when my calling started. That's when my mission started. And that's when I started to think about mission to movement so that I can actually help to champion the dreams of my clients and to champion the dreams of my audience so that they can get to where they are, to live life on their own terms, to get back control at their own time and calendar, right? To get back control of their own freedom, right? Without having to be trapped. For many of them, that I know when they're telling me their stories, they feel trapped in their own jobs, trapped in a job where they don't feel fulfillment or purpose, right? But simply because they want to make ends meet every single month. And so if we can actually take what we know and put that into a cause, right? And to be able to impact the people around us, that's actually what I truly want to be able to help people do.
absolutely. I mean, like I always tell people, I get people ask me, Jenny, what should I do? And I'm like, when you follow what you're passionate about, and you're going to come across your soul's calling and your soul's destiny. Yeah, but Jenny, I'm not a ballerina. My mom says I can't, or that's not the, and I'm like, when you follow your passion, what you're passionate about, what you're truly inspired and interested in, new doors are going to open up and it's going to expand.
You're so right. Yes, you're so
No matter
right.
what it
Yes.
is, no matter what it is, we're all born to do our calling and such if we listen and tune into our soul speak. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of a sign, like you, just a little bit of a sign. Tony and Dean, I love those guys. I just love them. They're amazing. They're extraordinary, you know?
Yeah, I love them too. Yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah.
so good at what they do and they inspire me every single day. Yeah, to become a better version of myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all have those ups and downs, ups and downs. Any business we have.
Oh
We have our,
yeah, tell me
you know,
about it. Tell me
yeah.
about it.
Oh, I know. I can write a book on that. Like, oh my gosh, how I crashed and burned. We're not even going to go there.
Yeah,
You know,
the very first time people were asking me, so Hui Hui, it seems like you can speak now. I mean, it doesn't look like you can't speak well at the beginning, right? So why would that six-figure coach say that you can't speak well? Well, so I share with people my first Facebook live. I did a 5 minutes Facebook live, and in the third minute, right, I actually choked because I was so nervous. I've had forgotten to breathe. So so that was how I started, right? So if we can just do it messy anyway, right? Do it imperfect anyway. It doesn't matter. As long as we get started. And many people think that we need to know the 10 steps or the 100 steps ahead. But in truth, we only need to know our first 3 steps. And once, like what you said, right? Once we do our first step and second step, sometimes new doors open that we never thought of, and then we see our next few steps again, and then our next few steps again, right? And if we try to plan out our next 100 steps, most often we're not going to be doing with that 100 steps, right? Destiny is going to
yes.
bring us to some place that we never thought of at all. Yeah, so I feel really blessed that we can just follow the creative forces and see where they really take us.
Yes. And it comes down to just having that faith, right? I mean, I do
Yes.
photography just as like a meditation, really. And there is a photograph I wasn't going to put up. I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh, just maybe somebody might like it, right? And Nat
Yeah.
Geographic, they liked it. And I'm like, what? Like, seriously? Like, really? I'm like, right? And as I'm just
Yes.
very passionate about it, it's like a meditation for me. So you never know what doors can open for you at any given time when you're following your passions.
Exactly.
It opens
Exactly.
up the door. Look at you, look where you're at, right? It's like, yeah, I want to do this. So now what's like a piece of advice you would give someone starting out, in creating course programs?
Um, this is something that I always tell my clients. When starting out, right, it's okay to do it imperfect, and all we need to do is just embrace progress and not perfection. because as Tony Robbins says, right, perfection is the lowest standard that we can have, because we can never reach perfection. We can never achieve perfection. So as long as every single day we are taking steps to progress, as long as we can be better than who we are last week, who we are better yesterday, right? That's the thing that we are aiming for. And the second thing is to actually give ourselves permission to be bad before we get good.
Yeah.
Because every master was once a disaster, right? And
Yeah.
if we can allow ourselves to become a disaster when we first begin, right, then the path is only going to get better after that, right? So if we can just give ourselves the permission, right, to be bad, then it actually relieves us a lot of the stress that we're going to face. Because when we first begin, right, there's going to be fear of judgment. When we first begin, there's going to be fear of what fear of the unknown, right? But all of those fears, all of those insecurities, all of those doubts, right, can actually start to go away when we tell ourselves it's okay. I can be bad at the beginning, right? It's okay. I can do it imperfect at the beginning. It's okay as long as I'm just moving one step along each day, because eventually I'll be able to get there. Yeah. So if as a beginner, anyone can do this.
Yeah, because I mean, like, even like nobody's perfect. We're all human, we all screw up,
Exactly.
whatever. And I feel it's all comes to what do we learn by it, and especially through challenges. Nobody likes to go through challenges. However, I find that when you really stick to it and just try to take one step at a time and face your
Mm.
fears, it totally liberates you. And then you're like, oh my gosh, right, I can't believe that
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
how do you face your fears, right? Like if somebody said to you, oh my god, I'm just so scared, I'm just so freaked out, or whatever it is, what would you say to them?
Well, there are several things when it comes to fears, right? I do believe that first of all, before we talk about the fears, go a little let's go back a little bit, right? And start to think about what is our deepest why. What is the reason why we want to do the things that we want to do, right? And if we can really discover what is it that we are doing it for, right? And who is it that we are doing it for, right? Whether it's for our children, whether it's for our kids, for our family, whether it's for our parents, whether it's for ourselves, whether it's for our future clients, right? For the impact that we want to make, right? For and some of our clients tell us that they want to be able to retire their spouse. Okay, whatever that reason is, if we have a reason that is greater than our fears, then that's when we become unstoppable. Because the fears will always be there, the imposter syndrome will always be there, right? So how can we have a desire that's much greater than that? How can we have a reason for doing what we want to do that will motivate us every single day to wake up in the morning and say, yes, I'm doing this in spite of my fears, right? And the second thing is, even though we have got fears, right? Even though we might have doubts about what we want to do, right? I believe that sometimes it's a matter of how do we reframe it? How do we label? How do we label those experiences, right? Because what names we give to those labels, it becomes our experience. Take for example, right? If um last year I went to Australia and I was doing skydiving.
Oh
I
wow.
went for my first skydive, right? And I was like, I think this is gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be an adventure, right? And throughout my entire before I got up on the plane, right? All I was telling myself is this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be an adventure. I'm gonna enjoy myself to the maximum, right? And it was only when I was up there, 12,000 feet in the air, when the plane door opened and I was about to jump out with my tandem coach. That was the moment I went like, oh, what did I get myself into? Right. And all the fears started rushing into my body. And I already started to feel it. But the next second I told myself, what am I doing this skydive for? I know that I'm doing this because I know that this year I'll be facing a lot of challenges. And I just want to be able to give myself the first gift of facing my biggest fear and of doing this skydive. And because I was very clear about what my purpose was doing the skydive, right? all those fears, even though they still exist, they were all on the back burner. It doesn't matter anymore. And so all I did was just trust that I had a tandem coach with me who can actually guide me through this entire process, right? Trust is really important, and find someone who has been there and done that, who can guide you through. Then that's when all these fears will be diminished. Not that they won't exist, but they will be diminished, right? And then you can go forward with confidence and achieve what you truly want. So I would say that it is important to start thinking about whatever fears that we have, right? Can I reframe them into something fun? Can I reframe them into growth? I'm growing myself, right? And so it's okay to feel all this and then act in spite of. Still take action in spite of.
Like, so whenever you landed, how did you feel after like you jumped out of the plane and then you're finally on the ground? Like, how did you
I
really,
was
really feel?
I was elated. I was elated. It was one of the most thrilling experiences that I ever had, and I felt so good. That feeling of triumph. When you overcome all of your fears and you reach and you touch the ground, and you go like, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
I conquered. I conquered all of my fears. I did it, right? That feeling, and when you can anchor the feeling of winning into yourself every single time when you have all of these small wins, right? Just is just amazing. I love the experience of every single time just challenging myself, and then feeling the win after that, and getting the excitement into my body. It thrills me. It really thrills me. And that was one of the most amazing experiences that I had.
Yeah,
Scary but fun.
because it pushes you. I find like whenever
Mm.
you face a fear, even if it's just a little fear or a huge fear, you have that kind of sense of accomplishment. And have you ever found that whenever you face a fear that and you're like, wow, I actually did that, no matter what it is, you kind of get that like self-esteem building a little bit. So it's almost like those little voices that some people get, oh, you can't do it, you can't do it. It's almost like, you know what, I just jumped out of that plane, or I just did this, or I just did that. So it's almost like, because I see, sometimes people feel as they're trying to transcend forward, they feel like they're taking steps backwards. And I'm like,
Mm.
for those steps that you feel in your mind that you're taking backwards, you're actually taking quantum leaps forward.
Mm.
It's like doing
Yep.
that work of the fear in the mind and all of that
Yes.
stuff. And then it's
Yes.
like
Yes.
jumping out of the
Yeah.
plane. And then you're like, okay, well now
Exactly.
I'm out of the plane. I'm either gonna land,
Exactly.
or if I don't, I'm not
Exactly.
gonna remember it.
Exactly. And you know what? I think it's because our brain is trained to focus on negativity since young, right? And so because of that, we often forget our own wins. We often forget our own accomplishments or achievements in the past. So one of the things that I think is really helpful is to actually have a journal of wins. So actually write down all the wins that you have, right? Even if it's in the past, even if it's dated back to your childhood, right? But all the things that you're proud of, all the things that you have done, and in moments of doubt, in moments of fear, in moments of feeling the imposter, right? That's when you can bring out your journal of wins and look at them and say that, hey, well, it's a great reminder that I've done this, and and I really did. I really did, and just give myself a pat on the back and say, if I can do all of this throughout my entire life, I can do the next one again. And just trust, and like what you say, have faith, because when you have faith and just trust, right, that if you have been through all these obstacles in your life, you can go through the next obstacle. And the best thing about it is we all grow. The obstacles are here for us to grow, and when we can grow through them, right, we become the next better version of ourselves, the next level version of ourselves. And I think that's what drives me, being a going to the next level, right? So that, and I don't see obstacles as so much as obstacles. I see it as growth opportunities. So how can I actually take all of this, that all of these obstacles that are presented in front of me, or I would actually see them as opportunities for me to just grow to my next level, right? When I can figure out the how to get through all these obstacles, right, I would already have grown my business or grown my life or perhaps even grown in my spirituality. So I think that's how I see all of this as just opportunities. Everything given to us is an opportunity. So all we need to do is just take this opportunity and run with it.
Do you have a mentor? Like, do you have like a certain person that like is like your mentor that you're like, you know, like a
I've got
guru
lots of
or even
mentors.
mentors?
Yeah,
Is there one
yeah,
that
I've got
if
lots of
you're
mentors.
so if you were to choose out of all of these
Mm,
mentors, do you have one
mm.
more specifically that you're drawn to?
Yeah. I've got two mentors who have deeply impacted me throughout my entire life. Um and even though I'm not in touch with them anymore, but they have actually what they teach me have been with me for a really long time. Um my first mentor was when I was in very young, still in my 20s. That was when I first started to become an entrepreneur, and he was a multi-millionaire, and the things that he taught me was all about leadership and being a role model. And this he's a Taiwanese, his name is Mr. Wang. His his way of being a role model is so inspiring that throughout my entire entrepreneur journey, right, I've been always thinking about how can I be more like him. So let me give you an example of what he does. Okay. He is such a positive person that he says that if anyone can catch him yawning, really just yawning, right, he will give them $30,000 as a reward.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
insane. I've
exactly.
never heard of that. I've never heard of
Exactly.
anything like that. Wow.
Exactly. Right. So that's, can you imagine? Well, yawning is something that is biological, right? But
Yeah.
he looks at it as no, it is something that is of willpower, right? And as a leader, you want to make sure that all of your actions, all of your words, are being a good role model for people to follow, right? And that's how he became a huge influence in my life. That he was my first mentor. My second mentor is T. Half Eker, right? The author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I attended his program Quantum Leap, and from then on, I studied every single thing that he teaches, and he has impacted me so much. All the things that he taught me, I was able to take what I learned and started my retail business. And I grew my retail business from 0 to 6 figures in less than 2 years based on all the principles that he taught me in business. And many of all these principles I'm still applying today. So one of the things that Half taught is this: ready, fire, aim. You don't
Oh,
ready, fire, aim, right? Most people talk about ready, aim, and fire, right? And he talks about ready, fire, aim. When you're ready, fire, and then after you fire, right, that's when you make the tweak and aim. So what he's really saying is you don't need to be all 100% ready, right? And be really, really sure about your entire direction before you even start. You can just start anyway and then figure things out along the way. So I think that these are great lessons that my mentors have taught me. And yeah, I love to learn from many people. I've got this little notebook where I'll write down quotes from all of my mentors.
yeah.
So whenever I
Yeah.
hear something great, right, I'll just write it down and yeah, and I'll see how I can apply that.
Yeah, because we get drawn to certain sayings. Like sometimes I'll be like reading books, I'll be reading three books at the same time, right? Because it's like
Mm,
I grab towards that, and I'll grab towards that, and I'll grab towards that, right?
yeah,
So now,
yeah.
tell us your journey of how you came about to be one of Tony and Dean's top 20 affiliates. Like that's
Right.
that's extraordinary. That is amazing. Like that's amazing. Like,
Thank you. We just did the launch um and this year, right? And I this time I emerged number four. Yeah, last year I was number 13, and this year I was
wow.
number four. So it's incredible. It's really incredible. This entire journey. So how it all started was like I was saying the story of the six-figure coach, right? And then after that I attended this this challenge, right, by Tony and Dean back in May 2021. And subsequently and during that this I was actually it was the first time that I became the affiliate. And I didn't even know what being an affiliate was at that time, but I just thought that it was fun to just go behind the scenes and see what they do, right? And so that's what I did. That first year I didn't have a lot of results, okay, but the second year, after that, what I did was I was able to grow my business, my coaching business, right, from 0 to 7 figures in less than 12 months. And because of that, that kind of caught their attention, right?
I'd say so.
And so yeah, so they were so during this last year, I attended, I was invited back to become their affiliate again, right? And so during that time, um I just did whatever that I could, okay, with all the with the list that I had. And I was actually the one with the smallest list, the smallest email list. And I was really the underdog at that time as well. But I truly believe that even if we are the underdogs, right? Even though we might be the smallest fish in the pond, but if we can just do our best, right, and understand some marketing principles, okay, we will be able to emerge with and be able to get some spectacular results, even if we're just doing organic strategies. And so I utilize all of my what I know using organic strategies, right? And last year I emerged number 13. Okay. And after that, I got to go to the top 20 mastermind with Dean Graziosi at his Scottsdale office. And from there I really got to fulfill my first dream, which was actually to thank Dean in person and take a photo with him. And because of that, right, they gave me another opportunity this year to interview him in person, right,
Yes.
on Zoom, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you saw the interview, right? And 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 one thing just led to another. And as what I was saying just now, as long as we have the faith, right, we don't know what the creative forces is going to open up for us. All these are just opportunities, and every single opportunity that lands on my lap, right, I'll just say yes to it first and then figure out how. Do I know how to interview someone? No, I don't. But when Dean said, would you like to do an interview with me? I said, yes, of course.
Yes.
Right. And then I'll go figure out how. And after that, that's yeah. And the next thing came, do you want to join this affiliate launch again? Yes, of course. Right. Every opportunity is an opportunity for growth. And so this year, um, I took the opportunity again. It was just limited to 50 over people this year. And I was actually very honored to be able to emerge number four, because all these are the top marketers in the world. And it was such a fun place to be in, to just have a friendly competition with everyone, and to be able to just learn and be in this environment. um I feel really, really honored. Feel really, really honored.
You're in your element. You're in your element. You're following what you're passionate about and what you're interested in, and that's what happens. So
Exactly.
how do you find peace? What brings you peace? How do you find peace? Like if you're having like a difficult day, like crises or anything like that, how do you find peace? Like really ground yourself and say, what do you do? Or
I'll there are a few things that I do. But first off, I do believe in two things. Number one is as long as I've done my best, right, in everything that I do, I'm good. I'm good. I don't find fault in myself. I don't blame. For a long time ago, I've already eradicated blame, shame, guilt in out of my life. Things like that don't happen in my life anymore. Whenever if I find that I've not done something good enough, I forgive myself instantly. I give myself grace for an opportunity to improve myself the next round, right? And so I think that is how I approach this. Okay. And the second thing is integrity. I think integrity is one of the biggest things, especially when it comes to business and especially when it comes to people. So can I be honest with myself? Can I be honest with other people? Right? Can I live to the highest degree of integrity, as in, and am I fully congruent with what I say and live true to my words? If I promise someone something, do I fulfill all of my promises? And if I can do all of that, right, whether to myself or whether to other people, I'm totally at peace. I'm totally at peace. I've no fault to find with myself anymore, right? Of course, I can always improve,
Yeah.
right? But there's no need for me to beat myself up for things if I feel that I've not done it well enough. All I need to do is just improve myself the next day, and that's how I find my peace.
Yeah. So if somebody says to you, now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do your course. Like, how do I know if I'm going to be able to do this? What if I fail? Right? Like why? Can I? Like all of those types of questions. Because obviously people from here are going to go take a look and see what's going on. And they're going to be like, how do I know if I can do
Mm.
this? Like, what would you say to that person? Like, if it was me, let's say, and I'm like, oh my God, I like, can I do this? Like, like how somebody hyperventilates. Should I? What would you say to me or whoever? Right?
Yeah, yeah. First off, let's breathe first. Let's take a deep breath first and calm down.
Go skydiving first, and then we'll.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Well, there are many ways to do this, right? One of the things that I think is it's really good to know is that many people have already been there and done that. We've got a lot of success stories for people who actually started right from scratch, and they're making their first they're getting their first paying clients, right? They're getting their first hitting their first milestones, right? That's the first thing, right? If there is a path for you to follow, would you like to follow that path? And because other people have already done it, so will you give yourself the time and put in the effort to actually get that done? Okay. Um, right. So the second thing is I do believe that sometimes we don't give ourselves credit enough that we can actually do things, right? And let me, Jenny, when can you tell me a moment when you are really proud of yourself, when you have achieved something and you're really proud of yourself?
I mean, like for me, for instance, I mean, I read people, as you know, right? I do a lot of spiritual work and such like that. And I
Mm,
mean, like I talk to people every day and so on and so on. And
mm.
and sometimes whenever, somebody says to you or says to me, you know what, Jenny, you've really made a really big difference in my life. Thank you. Because I mean, I also deal with suicides and all kinds of stuff, right? And especially as like somebody, wow, thank you. You really, really changed my life. You really, really helped me. And for me, that's my achievement for me. Like even if I had billions of dollars, let's say, I would still be doing what I'm doing because that's my passion.
Exactly.
That's who I am,
Exactly.
and yeah, it's like that gratification of thank you. That was, I really appreciate you. You really changed my life. That's for
Yeah.
me when I'm like, oh, it's that moment. It's you have that moment of being very grateful and or like a client will like all of a sudden out of the blue, let's say, and I mean, it doesn't happen every day. Like, one client, for instance, he came and he was so skeptical, right? He was one of the worst clients I ever had, long story. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad that time was up, right? So it was like maybe, I don't know, like 6 weeks later, he came back. He showed up at my place like unannounced. He brought me flowers and like a painting of, because I love ravens, and he brought me this painting of this raven and flowers. And I'm like, I was shocked, and I'm like, what's that for? And he goes, you really changed my life. You have no idea. And he goes, I just wanted to bring you something to say thank you. I was shocked. I'm like, of all people, you? I mean, I didn't say that to him, of course, right? But I'm like, it's the little things like that for me anyways. I'm grateful
I
for
totally
just
get you.
smallest thing, smallest thing. Even to talk
I
to you,
totally
I'm
get
very
you.
grateful sharing time, you know?
Jenny, just a few weeks ago, last month, in fact, I was in LA, and it was the first time I did an in-person workshop with my clients. And some of them actually flew in from Canada to actually attend our workshop. And during that workshop, when they first came, right, they would bring me gifts like, wine, whiskey, and 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 all the little gifts, and I
Yeah,
was I was totally shocked.
yeah,
I was going and I was thinking, who flies in, who flies in just to attend a 6 hour workshop just to be able to come and take photo and all that. And they told me, Hui Hui, you changed my life. Hui Hui, my whole family talks about you. Hui Hui, you have no idea. After I attended your workshop, I was able to pass this CPA test that I've failed for many years. And 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 you know what? The moment when they told me all of that, all of us started like crying
yeah,
all together. It was just amazing, and I never knew that I had the impact on their lives so much. And then one of my clients even brought his daughter, and his daughter told me, can you sign this for me? And
autograph.
and I yeah, yeah, can you give me an autograph? And I was, wow, I never expected that anyone would want an autograph from me, right? And when I first began, I never knew that I would have this level of impact. But it was because every single day I just did what I did. I just did what I needed to do. And and that's and as we see the wins of my clients in my tribe, when they get their first paying client, $2,000, $3,000, you know, things like that. Sometimes they just touch me so much, because now I know that every single one of them, if they follow the steps, they now have the capability to start a business on their own, and they now know how to get clients and get paid for what they truly deserve, for their passion, for their expertise. And that's the thing that makes me really happy,
Yeah,
because now I know that I've equipped them with the skill to
yeah.
to do what they can really pursue.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, like for me, I'm very drawn to authenticity. Like authenticity for me, genuine authenticity from the soul. That's the type of energy I'm around, and that's what I want to be around. And that's one of the other reasons, because there's a lot of different people out there. We can all see the world and stuff like that. And I like connecting with real, authentic people with real stories. And that's why I'm like, I have to talk to you. I have to have you on. And, because I
Thank
can
you.
see that. I read people, as you know, right? So I can see that automatically. And that's what I connect with. And people will see that with you. They see that with you, and you're going to find that that's just going to expand even more and more and more. It's even like with Tony and Dean, right? People like, oh, they just want money. And I'm like, actually, I read into their energy. I can see what they're about and everything and stuff. And there's a real heart. There's that real soul. There's that real heart there. right? And that's why I'm very connected, especially Tony, right? Once upon a time ago, we won't even go on to there, but it's just truly, truly amazing. So now if somebody wanted to say, you know what, how do I take your course, or where do I sign up, or how do I get in touch with you? What's the best way they can do that?
Well, I've got a free gift for
Oh,
everyone, right? I've written this ebook on the 5 keys to making your first 250K in your coaching business. So if you'd like to download this ebook, you can go to my website, huihuilek.com, and you can download the that free ebook. And I would like to invite you guys to join my free Facebook group as well. It's called Inner World Tribe. It's on Facebook. Feel free to just join our Facebook group, because that's where I share a lot of free resources on course creation and coaching, and you'll be able to find a lot of like-minded, very mission-driven individuals as well, who are pursuing their passion, right, and using their expertise to be able to impact more people, and while creating great income for themselves in their lives.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's so awesome. I mean, I follow you like everything. I watch everything. I'm all over it, and I even find, like, we all have our good and bad days, and all of a sudden I'll see one of your posts and I'm like, yes, you know, it's like that, an inspiration that people need. We need more positive energy in this world, and let go of all the negative energies. So I want to thank you so much. I'm very grateful for having you on. And also too, I'm going to be mixing things up a little bit here and there. And every now and then, I'm going to be doing live shows. So
Mm.
I want the viewers, if you want to see Hugh come back live, where you can ask her questions, write it in the comments below and let me know, because you never know when you least expect it. But you have to subscribe to Jenny. You have to subscribe to the channel. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and especially my amazing, extraordinary guests. And thank you for watching Soul to Soul Connections with Jeni G. I'm your host, Jeni G. And catch the next episodes, because you're going to be shocked who I've talked to. So thank you again. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.